Now then, let's get back into it. More my team, and today we're here for the Spanish Grand Prix, the revamped Spanish Grand Prix, of course, with the new layout and the new turn 10. Before we jump into the F1 action though, let's jump into a Pirelli Hotlap. If you're going to enjoy this one, leave a like and subscribe, as we're going to take on the Drift Challenge. Also, I'll leave the previous episode link up in the top right, guys, for the Miami Grand Prix, before we jump into any major spoilers. Now then, to get gold, we have to achieve 11,000 points in this challenge, and since I last done this, I've changed my wheel rotation to 900 degrees down to 450 in game, and that made a massive difference. So at first you're going to see me kind of mess around and get used to the wheel, and then after that we're going to start to really crank on the handbrake and see what we can do. And as you can see, we're getting a pretty decent score here. We've actually managed to chain up a decent amount of points, 1,500 there, and we're going to follow up with a lovely drift through the new turn 10 as we really push the car and the handbrake to the limits, managing to extend that points total into turn 11. And you can see here, really drifting the rears out of this car and doing a great job there, getting a decent little combo of over 2,000 points. And we eventually finished with over 11,000 as we had a sweet little drift all the way through turn 3 to push us above the threshold with 5 seconds to go. So as you can see, job done, gold score, very happy with that, and I actually really enjoyed it, to be fair. I'm actually low-key enjoying the supercars. They're fine to drive, they're actually quite fresh, you know, breath of fresh air to drive compared to F1 all the time, and it does help, you know, break it up a little bit in terms of the crew experience. Nonetheless, we got a perfect score, so 1,000 plus a claim and $100,000 added to the bank. We're now going to get into the race weekend though, and into the action. So the forecast this weekend is going to be dry. No rain expected. We have 3 upgrades on the car. 2 of them, I believe, are ours, and the engine one is from Mercedes themselves as a supplier upgrade. To add to that, we've got 3 more further upgrades on the way, 1 for each performance department, and you can see this is probably the biggest upgrade package we've brought all season as we take our biggest step forward of the year here at Spain. So positive vibes after the last race in which we lost our ICE, which of course was not really ideal, but you know, it is what it is. It was going to happen at some point, and it's going to happen again at some point, so we just have to deal with it. Into practice now though, and into the practice programs, and you can see we were on course to smash the fuel management program, but we unfortunately just ran out of track limits on the very last corner and made a stupid mistake. So I went again. Luckily we were on the hard tire, and second time around we did manage to successfully achieve it, having a bit of a lift across the line to make sure we pushed the delta into purple. And yeah, overall a good start to practice, getting maximum points. We then get confirmation on the telemetry, as you can see, of all the areas we saved fuel at. And the car feels like it's pretty decent around here. I mean, I feel pretty happy with the balance of the car, at least in FP1. It feels like, you know, we've got a decent baseline. I'm running, I think, the same setup as I ran in Imola, because even though we were slow on the straights in that race, I felt so good through the corners, and the car generally felt so good. I wanted to have that feeling again. So we went into the race strategy program. We got a purple score in that as well. We successfully achieved it in 3 laps. So another flawless program. As you can see, we had better tyre wear than expected, and also better lap times. My second lap was a bit scruffy, but the third lap was pretty strong. And with that, we now move into the qualifying performance test. Now this one was touch and go. This was really close. I was trying to push the limits and see if I could actually achieve it. And I was up by as much as 2 tenths at one point on this one, but it's a very tough program to now, and you can see here through the front chicane I run in a little bit wide through there. I didn't really carry enough corner speed. Exit was a bit safe. I went up to 5th a bit early, and just trying to be safe, I ended up throwing away the advantage and getting a red score. So unfortunately we're not going to hit the target for the qualifying pace program. Still though, decent overall. The car feels good and the pace seems okay. After that, we look at our total points from practice, and we scored 360 out of possible 540. And yeah, we're going to hopefully carry that momentum into qualifying. You can see we're going to go through the usual, points and discounts that we're going to get, and there's quite a few of these now stacking up on the durability, so we will have a look at those at the end of the episode, especially the ICE, which of course is an engine that we lost in the last episode. So it would be nice to get that sorted out and have that issue improve slightly moving forward. With that said though, qualifying time here at Spain. So far, it's been P22 in every single race. Can we break the streak? That's the real question, the $1 million question heading into this session. So, first attempt in qualifying. It was actually a pretty average start to the lap. I was a bit too safe. Through turns 7 and 8, we get out of shape on the new sausage curb on the exit and go for a spin. So I'm going to go ahead and try to recover this in the most efficient way possible, because I do have enough fuel for another lap. So we're going to just basically get the tyre temps back under control, recharge the battery and go again. Second time around, we're 2 tenths up on the very next lap. We have a bit of a moment again through the same spot. Through turn 9, I went in a little bit too early, had to correct my steering input. Having said that, we're still alive and we're still in one piece. We're up by about 4 tenths on Sebastian Vettel right now, who's in P14. So this is looking like a decent little lap as we go through turn 10, now into turn 11. Trying to make sure we don't throw the lap away and I get at least a semi-decent lap on the board. Making our way through the final chicane, a little bit too early there, I bumped the sausage curb and that upset my exit out of there, which wasn't ideal. Up to the line though, and we set a 118.3 ahead of Sebastian Vettel and Turbo Chair, behind Albon and Mick Schumacher. I then went back out again for a second run on a fresh set of tyres to try and improve. We were matching our first sector up until this point, and this is where we lost time on our previous run. You can see straight away here, we find over 2 tenths as we go through turn 9. I just get a bit of understeer and run off the track and invalidate, but there's at least 2.5 tenths alone in that middle sector. So with 30 seconds to go, I got my third set of tyres on the car and we're going to try and improve. So let's see if we can make it into Q2. Sector 1's going to be hard to beat. If I can match it, I'll be happy. Sector 2, I know there's 2.5 tenths to find, and then probably a little bit more in the final sector as well. Into turn 1, a little bit safe. I didn't quite open up turn 2 as much as I like, and I got a little bit loose and I had to get off the throttle a bit. As a result, we've lost a tenth and a half, which is a massive, massive blow. Sector 1, we're 4 tenths down on Mick Schumacher already. The AI also improving on their final runs as we make our way into turn 5. Downhill, back on the power, finding half a tenth through there, which is actually quite an improvement. As we now head into 7 and 8, didn't quite get all the apex. Exit also wasn't great, but still we find about nearly 2 tenths through there. Through turn 9, bit too safe, lost a bit of time and momentum. Now though into sector 3, turn 10, trying to make up for lost time, as we do find a solid tenth there, I'd say, through that section. Now through turn 11, bit more time found on the exit. Into 12 and then 13, 14, this entire slow speed section, trying to maximise the lap time. This time keeping it nice and clean over the curbs, and we're 2.5 tenths up. Is it going to be enough for P22? No, it isn't. Wow. 6 in a row, and you can see my face. I was not impressed. Qualifying is becoming an issue, man. I'm tempted to possibly run like 108 in qualifying, maybe even 106, and then back up to 110 for the race, just to make it make sense. But then again, I also don't mind. It's more of a challenge this way, and I don't mind that. Overall, worth noting, key takeaways. What really surprised me was, even on an absolutely perfect lap, I don't think I would have got P21. I think a perfect lap would have been about a 17.7, maybe even a 17.6, had I hooked it all up. I know, we threw away nearly 2 tenths in sector 1. There was 2.5 tenths in sector 2, which automatically, if you round that up, that makes it 4 tenths. And then we found another tenth and a half in the final sector. So at least half a second, at least, off our lap time. So that would put us in a mid-6. So I do think we could have done a much better lap. Having said that, a 0.4 to the Latifi, I don't think I could have beaten that. So in that respect, I'm not too annoyed, but still, 6 in a row, P22 yet again, so we're going to jump into the race and see if we can turn it around.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix. It's a race which saw Max Verstappen take victory on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016, after that dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat out this weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, George Russell and Perez, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Magnussen and Fernando Alonso, Norris, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon and Gasly, Joe, Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll, Théo Pourchaire, Latifi, Martinez and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now then, I like a challenge, something different, something, to push myself, and this weekend has caught me out. I thought we had decent pace, but then qualifying happened and we got destroyed. So we're going to try and fight back in this race. So strategy-wise, we're going to start in the medium and then go to the hard tyre. That's going to be the recurring theme pretty much throughout the season, unless we get caught out by a particular race with a really high tyre wear. I'm going to go 0.5 on the fuel, similar to what I've been running recently. Setup-wise, I did go +1 on the front wing for my final qualifying run, and it didn't really go too well, so we'll go back down and hopefully be more competitive in the race. Hopefully, I think we're pretty decent on the straight, so if we can get past some cars, we should be a bit harder to overtake. Tyre pressures, we can go a bit higher because we're only running the harder compounds, so we'll bump those back up. And I think we're good to go. So let's get into the formation lap. I want some predictions in the comments, so feel free to let me know what you think down below, and then edit your comment after the video. Let me know what, if you're right or you're wrong. I'm curious to see what you think. But leave a like, subscribe, and let's get into it, and let's get into the formation lap. Now, hopefully, unlike the last 2 races, technically 3 if you include the sprint race at Imola, I'm hoping to have a damage-free lap 1. So we've had a bit of a miserable run of it lately, so hopefully nothing happens here today. Nice bit of oil burn in there, just trying to make sure we get all the temps in order. Get her lined up. Oh, that's perfect. We're getting pretty good at this now. Let's get to work. Here we go. The Spanish Grand Prix. Lights are on. Underway. Excellent start. Oh yes, straight to the inside. That was actually a really good one. A little bit less RPM than I have been using lately. That was 8,500 compared to the usual 9,000 that I aimed for. Around the outside of Tsunoda here, can we gain a few more places on this opening lap as we head into turn number 4 now. Lots of 2 wide action up ahead. We're going to send it nice and deep into the corner and try to have a look around the outside of Sebastian Vettel. Inside into turn 5 on car number 5. Seb's still holding on though, and we've got Tsunoda trying to stick a nose in. Easy, easy. Careful with the front wing. Precious front wing, we do not want to lose it. Through turn 9. Tsunoda getting a bit out of shape, so that's going to take some pressure off. Into the new turn 10. Whoa, car getting loose. Mini apex there. It seems like clipping that inside curb makes the car spin round. It happened to me a couple of times in practice and in qualifying as well, I think. But lots of action ahead though, lots of dicing as we're struggling with the back end, trying to find some rear grip. End of lap 1 though, and we're still alive. And it's a very good start. 5 places gained. Magnussen in the pits, so make it 6. We've definitely got some very competitive straight line speed here for a change, unlike the last couple of races, which is refreshing, but then we're going to have to make up for that in the corners as we've got some battling behind. That's going to mean they're going to drop off hopefully and fall off behind us. Now the main thing really, I want to try and stick with the pack. If we can stay within a second and hang on to DRS, then hopefully we'll stay in the race, and then we've got options when it comes down to strategy. But if we drop out of the 1 second window, it's going to be hard to get back into it. So we're going to use our battery now to try and keep up with AI, who right now I'm expecting to be in full power mode until the end of this lap. I can't keep up. These cars are too fast for me. Unless Sebastian makes a mistake, we're going to drop out of range here. Hopefully, I've got one more chance to pull this back in the final sector if I can nail it. So let's see if I can do that. Yeah, no, we didn't make it. We're about the same pace in the final sector. I don't really have anywhere to gain. So this is it now. Our race starts now. We're out of DRS range. This is going to be frustrating, but we'll try and do our best. That was a personal best on that last lap. That's all I've got. So we'll just keep doing our thing, turning laps, and hopefully things will go our way later on in the race. Yellow flag. That's behind. That's Paul Chair, I think. Something happened to Teo Paul Chair just behind us. Looks like he's got going again though, but presumably damage to his car maybe. We have really dropped off now. The car's ahead. The 2 DRS zones are so strong, it's hard to keep the pace up. I'm also not using any battery at the moment. I'm trying to recharge and see what my pace is. If Latifi goes by here, I'm not going to fight. Yellow flag though into the first corner. Let's see what happened here. Latifi up the inside. We just about stay ahead. I wasn't really expecting the dive bomb, to be fair. Gone back to green flag though, so whatever happened didn't last very long. Possible car damage though, you never know, so let's keep our eyes open and see what happens. Another yellow this time. Paul Chair is, I think, out of the race. He's slowing down behind. This time Paul Chair is out. Will there be a safety car or a virtual safety car early on? Looks like nothing for now. Car feels good though. Leclerc's in the pits, that's a big one. So maybe Leclerc calls the yellow flag. The man who's won the last few races in trouble, so up to P15 we go. Let's keep doing this thing. Pace is decent. I'm starting to pick up some understeer on the left front. Partly down to tyre wear, also down to tyre temp. I'm gradually building up the temp lap after lap, and the front left is starting to overheat. Not hot per se, but it's 100 Celsius, 101 quite often now. The pan has changed compared to last year's game, where it would go up and down a lot quicker over the lap based off the corners you're at. And now it kind of stays a lot more permanently in the temperature that it's at, and doesn't really fluctuate so much, and it's more of a progressive build up. So we're overloading the left front here. So I'm actually looking forward to getting to the hard tyre. Hopefully that might help us out. Daniel Ricciardo in the pit lane. Latifi closing in a little bit, but he's not really close enough to go for a move. We've got Leclerc now behind this pack of cars, and he's trying to get through, but he's struggling at the minute. This is quite a slow block of cars. So we have a moment there through turn number 2. Back end does feel a bit snappy, and I've got a higher front wing change selected for the next stop on the hard tyre. I'm going to gamble. I need a bit more front end on the car, I feel like. Oh, Latifi having a look. Damn it, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. The AI just going crazy now. What are you guys doing?
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful. Okay, be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
Not ideal. Gonna box early. I don't know if I'll make it to the end, but I need to get a front wing change. Thank you very much, Mr. Latifi. Albon Sonoda. Okay, let's get the front wing change. Oh, it's on automatic, so I hope they change it. If not, it could be our race server. I'm really hoping they change our wing. Please. Oh no. They're not changing the wing. Race over.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Why can't we choose a wing change in the pit entry or the pit lane? Oh god, this race has completely gone apart. Another bad race for us. Well, all we can do is hope for a safety car now. We've got 22 laps for one to arrive. We're going to pit again. Lance Stroll pits. There is a strong chance we may get lapped here with this wing change. But that's the way it is. I don't have any other hard tyres I can use. I'm going to go for a used medium and hope it does the trick. But we're going to get lapped already here. Oh boy. Come on guys, come on, come on. It's a slow stop, it's a pit stop error. 10.3.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left from this strategy.
Wow. I don't have another set of mediums, really? They put me straight back on the set I was using. Where's my other set of mediums? Surely I've got another set. Oh.
Blue flag, blue flag.
We've almost beached the car.
Racing the car behind, let them pass when you can.
The lap of hell. Oh my god. How do I not have another set of mediums? Wow. Well, we're lapped down now, so all we can hope for is a safety car. Even then, I don't know if lap cars can overtake, so we'll stick around for a couple of laps. If nothing happens, we'll call it a day. Blue flag for Leclerc. Ironic, we was literally ahead of him a couple of laps ago, but we have to let him by it. I wanted to wait for some DRS, but the game probably won't let me wait that long, so... What a disaster of a race, man. Jesus. Personal best on these tyres. Amazing. Track limit warning, number 1. I'm really doing this for a safety car and hoping that I'll be let back through. That's purely it. Blue flag then. I kind of don't want to let them through. They're not really close enough yet, but I don't want to get a penalty. I'll let them by after turn 9. Go on fellas, off you go. This is going to be a painful one. They're not even able to overtake me properly. More cars to let by now in the form of the McLarens.
Okay, blue flag conditions, create a gap and let the car behind through.
That was pretty decent, and we'll get some DRS here. I'm going to box, get the hard tyre on, and just see what happens. Safety car would be great. I'll give it a few more laps. I don't want to give up because you never know what can happen, but if a safety car doesn't happen in the next couple of laps, then I'll just call it a day. Not a bad stop, 2.5. There is definitely a bug with the pit exit there. I can't release it. Well, I mean, I pressed the pit release, but it's still on the limiter for like another 2 seconds after I let it go. That was in last year's game and still hasn't been patched. Looks like we're going to stay here behind Sonoda. We did just let him by. I'm able to follow him and get DRS and set a personal bests. Please, something happen. Warning number 2. Running a little bit wide with some understeer behind Sonoda. Here we go, yellow flag, please. Exit of turn 2. Could this be it? No, I think he's spun, he's got going again. Damn it. That might have been it, that's what I was hoping for. And it wasn't a retirement, it's just a mistake. Okay, this is it, we're going to retire the car. Because, if you look at the mini-map, Carlos Sainz is on the same straight as us, he's approaching. He's 2 laps ahead, he's on lap 29, about to go on to lap 30. You need at least 3 laps at the end of the race to get a safety car, so that is it pretty much. I don't think we're going to get one, so we're going to call it a day and retire from the race. Disaster, but partly my fault. I'll take responsibility, but a race to forget. My God.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their head when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that has allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and stay out of trouble.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
And there we go, back-to-back DNFs, back-to-back L's. That's the way it goes. Still can't forget where we are. You know, we've scored 11 points this season, which is still a very, very strong amount of points considering how poor the car really is. Carlos Sainz picks up the win, and it's a massive one because Charles Leclerc didn't even score a point today, so that's big for the championship. Hamilton second, and Mercedes with their upgrades jumping ahead of Red Bull or thereabouts. You know, the battle was on. Alonso in his home race P6 ahead of Ocon, and then Schumacher, Bottas, Norris round out the points. Gasly P11 missing out on the top 10 along with Vettel, Ricciardo, Leclerc with the fastest lap, Zhou, Albon, Tsunoda, Latifi, Stroll, Magnussen, and then myself P21, Paul Chair P22, double DNF for 97 Racing. So standings, we drop to 12th. No, we stay where we are, fair enough. So Ocon and Magnussen switch, but no changes for us. Sainz, dominant out front, 32 points. You know, that was a big race for him. To be fair, you know, the gap should have been about 7 points or less, but he's put a full 25 on Charles Leclerc, and that's a big, big hit in the championship. Constructors were 8th, 4 points to McLaren. No big changes really. It doesn't really affect us too much. And Constructors is all we care about because that's where the prize money is. So we'll keep working, keep chipping away and see if we can improve. So let's go into the menu and let's go for more upgrades. Now it's a very, very short turnaround until the next race in Monaco, only 3 days. For now though, activities, all we can do really is some sim training really for Paul Chair. So we'll go for that. Hopefully we've had some upgrades arrive on the car for this race. We've got a chassis and an aero one on the way, both to arrive after Monaco. So all we can really go for is an engine upgrade. So let's have a look, see what our options are. Spark plugs on the car, wastegate actuator from Mercedes themselves. We've got the status for the ERS. Fuel efficiency, we can't go any further, we need spec 1. So what I think we might do actually is spend some money. Which is the department where we need it the most? Let's have a look. So aero, where are we in the pecking order? We are second from bottom. What about in the chassis? I want to see where we are in all departments. Second from bottom, we're quite a way off to be fair in the chassis. Engine, we are mid-table, so engine's actually okay to be fair. Durability, towards the bottom. We'll go ahead and buy this upgrade though, because it's only 149 points for the IC, which is what we lost of course with the engine failure. Turbo as well, 162, we'll take that, pretty cheap. But I think we're going to spend some cash. Now the first thing we're going to do, very important because of the engine failure, we're going to get a driver perk, and we're going to go for power mapping to reduce engine wear by 10%. It's a quick way of fixing engine wear without having to spend too much on the durability department. Elsewhere, 3 million to spend. What do we think is the best option? Do we go for the sim? Not really. I'm going to go for the chassis. I feel like that's what we need to spend the money. We can't afford any of the 4. The best option for us, I think, in this particular situation is going to be, I think, improving how many, or doing, increasing how many upgrades we can make. So we'll go for the fabrication, 2.5 mil, and hopefully that will arrive soon. But there we go then. The next race is going to be Monaco. Big hopes for that one. We're going to go all out, maximum downfalls, and try to scratch and claw and do the best we can around there. Big pressure, in my opinion, to perform at that track. Worth noting, these are the upgrades we have on the way right now. It's not going to make much of a difference. We can't improve or jump the order with this rate of development, so we need to try and push this forward. For now though, that's where we are. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel, guys. As always, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the content on the daily. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and that's goodbye from me.